I've been trying to get more footage of my life lately just to kind of document this chapter and to have something to look back on one day and be able to remember these last few years and just how grateful I am for everything. And this has kind of been a really fun adventure, especially lately. I feel like I'm hitting a stride that I've always kind of sought to be in, so it feels good right now, and it's cool to be able to just share this kind of chapter with my future self, I guess, more than anything. So I hope you enjoy this little peek into my life and the process of my art and my day-to-day stuff. I feel like this specific video is kind of just like a love letter to my life right now. So these paintings are actually pretty big, and they're starting to fill up a lot of space in my house. So I'm starting to bring a few of them to the shop now and replacing some old art with the new art. Trying to just put something up that is current and that represents where I'm at, so that my clients can kind of enjoy something contemplative and something cool to look at while they're getting tattooed as well. I've been doing a lot of black and gray tattoos lately. This one is not as realistic or on the realistic side as most of my black and gray tattoos tend to be. It's more of a stippling shading, just like a lot of dots. It's a very specific technique of tattooing. It's time consuming, but it's to create a very desired effect by certain people that just really like this style, I guess. And I think that I've kind of figured it out over the years. I like doing it. I find it to be a style that lasts a long time and always looks good and heals really well and works on like any skin type too. So it's a pretty cool kind of tattoo to get into, honestly. It's a good style to have in your wheelhouse as a tattoo artist. This is an example of a style that I'm more typically getting into. It's like a more realistic black and gray, really high contrast. I like a lot of movement in the tattoo. This is a sleeve that we've been working on since January, and so we've worked together pretty extensively over the last few months. Been through at least 5 or 6 long sessions. And he usually comes in with a kind of general idea and then just lets me get real creative with it. And he's always let me figure out how to connect everything. I'm always doing a painting for my son, trying to fill his room up with a bunch of my art, and so I let him have a bunch of input like in the subject matter, and we talk about colors and style and stuff. Just want to kind of show him that if he can imagine it, then he can create it, and I'm just trying to inspire him through my art to kind of like keep a creative imagination and to always be an artist no matter what he does. And I guess I also kind of see it like he's a conduit for the imagination of a child, and he just allows me to kind of tap into that resource and be able to imagine the way that a kid would imagine. I just really like being able to give him art that he wants in his room too, overall. starting a painting can often be the hardest part of the painting. I'm using this canvas a little bit different than the ones I've used before. It's super flat textured, doesn't have any pores to it. And it's always a question of am I gonna sketch it on? Am I gonna just toss colors around? You never really know till you're in it. I've been practicing Brazilian Jiu Jitsu for the last 3 years now, and I've found a lot of benefits as an artist. A lot of us don't get a lot of physical activity, and we don't make friends a lot of times, even outside of the tattoo shop or the studio. And most of the interaction we get is with other people online, I guess. So it's really nice to just be around other people that are ambitious and have goals that are similar to yours. And people from all walks of life, though, really come in to do jiu-jitsu, and it's a really cool place to just find a community, I guess. And on top of that, it's just a really interesting art form that is kind of endless in its knowledge and your pursuit of it.
So I go here, I control gun shows so they can't pick their toes up.
Now you're gonna bite them or something.
That's just called a ring thing.
Now you're gonna bite them or something.
If you're over 30, you better be icing and stretching. That's all I'm gonna say, though, afterwards. This is a rainy day, and we ended up having to drive through the craziest summer rainstorm in Michigan to get to the airport, pick my brother up. And while we were there, a little Chick-fil-A doesn't hurt. For the past few weeks, I've been doing pretty good at spending at least a little bit of time painting every day, and that's been helping me out a lot at not stressing on these paintings as much, and there's no time constraint. I'm not under any kind of contracts or anything to get this done by any certain time, and I can think about it and contemplate on it as long as I want. I can plan, I can make all kinds of adjustments, and I can let it sit for however long I need to and then come back to it if I want to. So that comforts me and allows me to have a lot more fun with the painting, and I feel like I'm getting a lot more out of the painting by letting go of all of the constraints behind being a professional artist and just having one medium where I'm not focused on that and I'm just completely enveloped in it and allowing myself to create in the moment and to just make something out of pure joy. My son's been doing Taekwondo probably as long as I've been doing Jiu Jitsu now, and he's just reaching the intermediate classes. This is just a ceremony where he ended up graduating and getting to his next belt level, so we're really proud of him and excited to see what he ends up doing with this. I always wanted to train in a traditional martial art like karate or taekwondo or something, but I just didn't live in those kinds of circumstances as a kid to where that was possible. So it's really cool to be able to provide stuff for your kid that you didn't have when you were a kid. If you know me, you know I love to grill. So after a quick lunch, just getting back into the painting and trying to kind of push myself through a little bit of lack of motivation. And sometimes though, you just gotta take a break, sit back, gather yourself, and kind of think about what you're gonna do next. And if that ain't a metaphor for life, then I don't know what is. But getting back into this painting, I just think about pushing and pulling a lot is what I call it. I'm looking at my darkest values usually first. I'm typically going a bit too dark on everything, kind of layering things on in a way where I'm almost uncomfortable with the layer of darkness that I've gone to. But then I'm gonna put the highlights and like the lightest tones on also. So I got my darkest and my lightest. And then on top of all of the darks and the lights, I flood in the colors. Once I'm flooding in the colors, then I can kind of adjust the lights and adjust the darks, again pushing and pulling the contrast until the shapes are the way I want them to, and the saturation of the color is the way that I imagined in my mind. It takes a long time sometimes. It can take many sessions, so I try not to limit myself on time and just keep going until at one point it just feels like it's done. Please share this video and like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. And that helps me out a lot, actually. Just give my work out to more people. And thank you for watching, and I will have some more stuff for you to check out next week.